June 14th, 2009 was supposed to be just another race in the NASCAR Mexico Series. Multiple drivers were battling for the lead in the closing laps. By race's end, we would get a winner. Unfortunately, he wouldn't be here to celebrate it. Carlos Pardo was born and raised in Mexico City. He was the middle child, behind his older sister and ahead of his younger brother. Over the years, him and his little brother Ruben developed a passion for racing. Whether it had 2 or 4 wheels, both brothers were definitely going to be racing it. Long before the NASCAR Mexico Series was even a thing, Carlos and Ruben established themselves in motorcycle competition. Carlos won 2 championships in 96 and 97, and by 1998 had officially moved up to stock car racing. His little brother would join him to race in the now short-lived Dodge Neon series. It was also called the Neon Challenge, and it was a series that consisted of modified Dodge Neons that not only had races that were an hour long, but teams also had 2 drivers for each car and would have to do driver swaps during the race. And over the next few years in this series, the 2 brothers were able to hone their stock car racing skills, as Carlos ended up winning the championship in 2000. Fast forward a few years, and a new series was on the rise in Mexico. The NASCAR Mexico Series, or known at the time as the Corona Challenge, was formed in 2004. Since both brothers were making a name for themselves in Mexican stock car racing, the most competitive teams were obviously going to vie for their services. Telmex team signed Ruben to drive the number 2 Pontiac, while the Telcel Sun Motorola team signed Carlos to drive the 6. The first race in series history took place on June 6, 2004 in Mexico City. Carlos scored a top 5 finish in the inaugural race, but as the season progressed, him finishing inside the top 5 would become a regular thing, as well as his little brother. Throughout the inaugural season, the 2 were battling for the championship. Both of them won a combined 5 races, but that would ultimately be the difference because Carlos won 4 of them. Carlos Pardo went on to win the inaugural Mexico Series championship, beating his little brother Ruben by 69 points. Nice. Along with 4 wins came a total of 10 podiums. When you also take into account that Ruben had a total of 6 podiums with 1 win in 14 total starts, then it becomes pretty clear that the 2 brothers, without question, dominated the season. It's also a feel-good story to have 2 brothers battling for the championship. Unfortunately, in 2005, Carlos failed to score a single win. Even though he failed to score a single win, this finish with his little brother at least made up for some of that.
Iban a estar, ahí le mostraba a Carlos el auto por dentro, le cerraba la puerta, abría por un lado, por el otro, en los últimos metros, y era Rubén el que se iba a llevar la victoria en un final dramático.
While it was cool to have that feel-good moment, for the most part, it was an off-season for Carlos, and he wanted to rebound to championship form in 2006. He re-established himself as one of the elite drivers in the series, going on to win 4 races, but unfortunately didn't win the championship. And really, this is where his career in the Mexico Series peaked. He never won multiple races in a season again after that, although he continued to put up solid numbers. In his first 3 seasons in the Mexico Series, he not only won the inaugural championship, but 8 total races, as well as finishing 3rd in the standings in 05 and 06. Of course, we can't forget his only start in one of NASCAR's top 3 series.
From Mexico, 8 drivers in the starting lineup of 9 that attempted to qualify.
34 car was locking up there, getting smoking the tires. Easy to do getting down in that turn 5.
Carlos Pardo and Fernandez takes advantage on the outside. Moves up on Jamie McMurray in the 64.
He's going to go for second here, try to outbreak Carlos Pardo, getting down into turn 1. Takes the second position away.
Got to be some giving and taking right here.
Now Pardo is a lapped car. Remember, single file restart. Wherever you are in the running order is where you restart. They do not move the lap car of the lead lap cars up to the front until the last 10 laps of this race.
See Kevin Harvick back there in the 21 car. He's sitting there in the third position right now trying to wrestle around these lap cars.
Here's Harvick. Whoa, contact. Yaley hits a little punch from Pardo.
He almost tried to go into a hole that was not quite there just yet.
Under braking there for turn 7.
Yeah, the 34 car's got an issue with brakes. So every time we look up, he's got smoke flying off those front tires. So whatever's going on with that car is mainly brake problems.
His only Busch Series start took place in 2006 at his home track, driving for Frank Sissi Racing. Due to mechanical failures, Carlos unfortunately had to DNF. By 2008, Carlos had switched teams, as he was now driving the number 21 Motorcraft Ford for Tame Racing, not the Wood brothers. Even though he never won multiple races in a season again, he still put up solid performances and even won the 2008 season finale in Mexico City. Unfortunately for him, it would be the last season finale he would ever participate in, because on June 14th, 2009, tragedy would strike the Mexico Series. On the Miguel Leabid International Raceway Oval, Carlos qualified way in the back and methodically worked his way towards the front. The race was 100 laps, so he had limited time to do so. The inaugural series champion was leading the race with 3 laps to go, although it was barely because the rest of the field was hot on his tail, including Jorge Goders, who was going for the lead. Both of them made contact. Pardo's car was sent spinning out of control, striking the end of a barrier with the passenger side of the car. It then wrapped itself on the barrier and disintegrated. Everyone, from the drivers to the crews to the fans, were horrified by what they just witnessed. After hitting the concrete barrier at more than 120 miles per hour, it took the medical team 12 minutes to get him out of the car. He was transported to the hospital, where 45 minutes later, he had succumbed to his injuries. The race was declared over with 3 laps to go, with the running order being reverted back to the previous lap. Because of this, Carlos was declared the winner in his final start. The series and track were put under fire after this because of where the concrete barrier was. Fortunately for the series, it remains the last fatality it's ever had, and it's still going strong today. The series held its season opener at the LA Coliseum in 2024, with Daniel Suarez taking the victory, and the racing in the series at other tracks is absolutely spectacular and has built up a solid audience. However, you can't forget the series, and you can't forget other Mexican drivers coming through the ranks like Daniel Suarez without appreciating the ones who came before them. Carlos Pardo will forever be remembered as the first ever NASCAR Mexico Series champion. Him and his brother Ruben were pioneers, helping build up the series during its infancy. And although he left this world tragically, at least he went out a winner. He is survived by his widow, his baby girl, and his brother and sister. Carlos Pardo was 33 years old. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Black Flags Matter. Catch you next time.